Classic Car TV.
Welcome to this week's episode of Haggerty Classic Car TV. This week we're deep within the bowels of Haggerty headquarters. Bowels. Let's check the news.
It's time for news.
AC/DC frontman Brian Johnson has teamed up with 50 Plus Racing to raise $1 million for families battling pediatric cancer. The singer will share driving duties in the number 50 Riley BMW Daytona prototype during next year's 50th anniversary of the Rolex 24 in Daytona, to benefit the Austin Hatcher Foundation. To donate, visit hatcherfoundation.org/highway-to-help. Interested in taking an Audi R8, a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, or a Porsche 911 GTC RS for a spin? Starting in January, the Richard Petty Driving Experience, founded by the stock car racing legend, will begin offering rides and drives in exotic cars in addition to NASCAR-style stock cars. The pilot program will launch at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, at the Petty Experience at Walt Disney World Speedway. For information or to book rides, visit exoticdriving.com.
If you've ever wondered what goes into getting a car ready for a top-flight concours or show, well, you're about to find out. Tim McNair, expert detailer, is here to show us how he got one car ready for the Quail at Monterey this year.
That is the coolest Toyota I've ever seen.
One of the reasons we chose this car was for that. Not many people have seen these. They're mostly on the West Coast. Not very many built. Production somewhere around 350 cars. And as far as Japanese cars go, this is the pinnacle. This is the first of a truly exotic Japanese car.
What does it take to get a car like this ready for a show like this?
Something like this. Now, this is a relatively clean car. This particular car, just to give you a little background, it was repainted around 2002, and it's been, other than that, it's an original condition car. So we had to basically get the paint together a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. The interior, the engine compartment, and the undercarriage were all detailed. Something like that, in this particular case, took almost 4 days, about 30-35 hours to complete. The best way I can describe it, what I do, is sort of like detailing on steroids. You know, most of the time you can detail a car, it may take you a day, 7-8 hours. You can put some polish on it, clean the interior, clean the engine compartment. In this particular case, we have to bring it to a much higher level. We had this car on a lift, pulled the wheels, did the wheel wells, the full undercarriage, every nut and bolt under there has been cleaned. The engine compartment, we removed small items like air cleaners and batteries just to gain access to other areas of the car so we can get into the sort of the depths of the engine compartment. A lot of times we'll do some refinishing, sometimes repainting those parts like air cleaners and then replacing the correct stickers on top. So you can imagine it's a very labor-intensive process and not for the faint of heart.
This week, we take a ride in one of the ultimate muscle cars.
This week's ride-along is in a 1969 Chevrolet Camaro SS. Here to talk about it is Tony Petrangelo. He's the Haggerty fleet manager and the owner of this gorgeous car. When did you get it?
This car I actually purchased late '71 off the original owner, and I've had it ever since.
Did you drive it in the 70s?
It was my daily driver. I took it to college and to work, and it was my daily driver for years, well, till about 76, 77.
What's it like waking up in the morning and taking this thing to work or to class?
Back then it was pretty much the norm. I mean, a lot of people had these kind of cars.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you get in a race on the way to work.
Just
it
racing
just
to work.
happened.
Yeah.
And but it was fun.
You've had more than one of these,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. Yeah, I've had a number of them that I've restored and turned around and sold. But I always wanted to keep my original car. So.
And how does this particular car compare to other Camaros that are out there?
Well, this one happens to have the bigger engine option that you could order, other than going to the central production order, which none of us knew about back then. It was kind of secret.
So out of the catalogs, it's the 396 with 375 horse, which was underrated at the time. It's probably more around 420, 425.
Okay.
So it gets up and goes quite well, but it's tame enough to drive around. So, and you could get premium fuel back then out of the pumps for 95 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
105, 107 octane. So they ran real well then.
So let's say you do get in a race on your way to work. How do you do?
This car performs quite well.
Yeah.
I've raced many times on Gratiot. I grew up in the Metro Detroit area, and we'd be out there Friday and Saturdays, and it stood tall.
What else do you love about this car? What makes you love it?
You know, in the exhaust system on this. In '69, in the beginning, you could order this exhaust system. It's called chambered exhaust. It's really loud, and the government officials banned it, so then they stopped producing them with that, but you could order them over the counter. And then at the end of the production year, they wouldn't even let you order them over the counter anymore. But this one had it on it when it was new.
Okay.
So,
and why did they stop?
It's too loud. It's just annoying. You know, you wake up and go to work back in the day, and the neighbors would complain and all of that. So Chevrolet just stopped. They ceased putting them on the cars.
Wow.
Yep.
Because the little old ladies couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem fair.
No, we liked it, but and for years when they rusted out, then you were trapped. You had to put the mufflers on them. But now they make aftermarkets, so that's what put it back on the way it was.
Wondered what it's like to be a Blue Angel, just drive one of these things. Friggin' awesome.
Well, that's it for this week's episode of Haggerty Classic Car TV. See you next week.